This podcast is sponsored by nobody.
Hey everyone, this is Sonia Curtis, the peasant girl in the Monster Squad, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. He's gonna avenge Dracula. Not really.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming my fifth cast member from the Monster Squad, and I am talking about adorable little Phoebe herself, Ashley Bank. And oh my god, she has been on so many great TV shows back in the 80s. Cagney Lacey, Family Ties, My Two Dads, Highway to Heaven, Empty Nest, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that's 90s. And it's going to be great to have her on. I've been trying to get her on here for a long time and stuff. She also has produced short films and everything. I want to find out what else she's been doing since. She does the occasional convention, of course. And it's going to be great to have her on. I am so looking forward to this. Man, Halloween October is really ending on a high note. I'm just getting so many great toe curlers here. And wait till you all hear who I've got coming on actual Halloween this Friday. I'm going to make the guest announcements tomorrow. So, yeah, here is my interview with Ashley Bank. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am fantastic. I can't tell you what a great honor this is. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, going back in time, what age did you start gravitating toward acting?
I don't even think I could really remember. I think I started when I was about 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I gravitated so much as I was encouraged.
Were your parents in the business?
I think my parents wanted to be in the business. My dad wanted to be a writer, and my mom, I think deep down, wanted to be an actress, but she has a thick accent and so didn't think she could and was trying to be a producer. And they
Mm-hmm.
had a friend who was friends with an agent, a children's agency,
Mm-hmm.
and I was pretty precocious. And I think one day she said, Ashley could do commercials and stuff and make money for college. And my parents went, money for college? Rubber?
Yeah.
And thus began my career.
What was your mom's thick accent?
She's Israeli.
Oh, she's Israeli. Okay. Yeah. So it started with the commercials. What did you endorse?
Oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you. I did, I think 40 something commercials when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the first commercial was. I think my very first job was a small part in a TV show called Call to Glory,
Yeah.
which starred Craig T. Nelson and Elizabeth Shue, and I basically played a young version of her in a home movie.
Okay. Yeah. Stephanie Dunham was on there. I talked to her a few years ago. Yeah. I remember it was a short-lived military show.
Yes, yes. That I mean, I think I did one day, but it was my very first job.
And that got you your card and everything.
I guess that got me my SAG card, and then we were sort of off to the races.
Yeah, I'm a huge Cagney and Lacey fan, and I was very lucky.
Oh,
I was very lucky to have Sharon Gless on here when her memoir came out, and which I highly recommend. It's the most body and honest memoir of all time. What
oh, I'll
was,
have to check that out.
yeah, what was she and Tyne Daly like to work with?
Oh, good. You know what? I honestly couldn't tell you. I've never seen that episode. I
Uh,
barely remember it. I think I was 3.5 or 4. And I know I did it. It's on my resume, but I've never been able to even find the episode. So I actually have no idea. I've never seen it, and I don't know what I did on it, to be honest. I was so young.
well, they recycled this episode a couple years later because that's what happens when a popular series goes on too long. They start to rehash old episodes. My
Yeah,
friend,
it's called syndication.
right, right. My friend Allison Croft, who was good friends with all the guys in the Monster Squad, she did a similar episode where she played this little girl who was molested by her father. But she's the complete opposite of the character in this episode, because in this episode the character is very quiet and very withdrawn. She's very aggressive and is yelling and just just angry and acts out that way, because they couldn't make the character that similar, because it was a redo of the previous episode.
Mm.
But yeah, I love that show. I've seen almost every episode, and
I didn't know that show is still, I mean, like still kicking around in syndication somewhere, I guess, right?
well, thank God for YouTube because they got almost every episode on there.
Do they? Oh, I'll have
Yeah,
to go through and search and see if I can find my episode.
it's there. It's there.
I'll see if I can remember what happened. I'm sure my mom remembers, but that was also like a very, very early job. So it was, probably I was still trying to figure out what was going on, what a set was, what I was doing,
Yeah,
and all
now
those things.
Natalie Gregory from Irwin Allen's remake of Alice in Wonderland is in it. God, I was obsessed with that remake. I used to watch it over and over as a kid.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it was 1985, and everybody from Ringo Starr to Sammy Davis Jr. to Donald O'Connor and God, Shelley Winters, everybody in old show business is in it.
Oh, cool.
It's a classic. Next comes Family Ties. Do you remember anything about that?
I do. Family Ties was a wonderful experience. It was, I think, my first sitcom, which is my favorite medium to work in, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a blast. The whole cast was so nice. Michael J. Fox was a dream. He's a lovely human.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a great time on that set. It was really fun. It was my very first time being sort of a precocious know-it-all, which became a bit of my calling card. So
Yeah. Yeah, you play one of Brian Bonzel's classmates, and
yes.
yeah, that's when they started having him on as Andy grew older and stuff. He actually terrified me when I was a kid because I thought he was the kid from The Shining.
Oh, he totally looks like the kid from The Shining. The haircut is very similar. I totally see that resemblance. That's so funny.
I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's got like tattoos and he's all wild looking now.
No, I haven't actually I haven't run into him. I run into people occasionally at conventions here and there, but
Yeah.
he's not someone I've run into.
Yeah. Then you were in Dolly Parton's A Smoky Mountain Christmas. How was working with Dolly?
She is an angel, as everyone says. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that was an amazing, amazing experience. It's interesting. I think that came out before Monster Squad, but I think I filmed it afterwards.
Huh.
But maybe that's not true. I don't know. I'd have to ask my mom. But it was a great experience all around. All the kids were awesome. It was actually directed by Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
So I had the double joy of working with the nicest man in Hollywood and the nicest woman in Hollywood at the same time, because they were just both incredibly lovely and giving and generous and understanding of, as kids, I think that you sometimes, I think, really believe what you're doing, right? It's what makes kids really good
Mm-hmm.
actors in some way, is because the veil between reality and make believe is so thin that there were times when I really believed I was that character in a way and would have, feelings about what my character was doing that a normal actor would just be like, oh, that's just the character. But as a kid, you're like, no, it's me. And so Henry was incredibly generous and kind, and Dolly is just amazing in every way.
Oh yeah, I've heard that they're two of the nicest. Now, I've heard that Dan Hedaya and Lee Majors can both be known for being difficult to work with, but were they difficult on that one?
I didn't have any problems with either of them. Lee Majors, I think, maybe knew my mom somehow from before
Hmm.
and was really friendly and lovely to work with. He was a little scary and imposing, as
Yeah,
his character is supposed to be.
yeah.
And so I think, he has that kind of aura, and I probably was a little bit afraid of him. And so I think he really went out of his way to be nice to me.
Oh, that's good. And then there's a couple other classic child actors in there. Danny Cooksey from Different Strokes at that
Yep.
time.
I remember Danny. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
and Chad Sheets, who's no longer with us.
oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, he died like in the late 90s or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't find that out until the internet. I was like, oh my God, because I remember him from Meatballs Part 2 and the Dirt Bike Kid with Peter Billingsley and stuff. Yeah, that's sad. Do
Yeah.
you remember anything about Bo Hopkins?
Bo Hopkins, was that the other girl?
No, no, he's the other. He's the guy. He's kind of he was kind of like a Lee Majors type, and he's in the movie.
Um,
He was
you know what? I
he was always in like westerns and stuff. He was
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You know what? I had very few scenes with him. I think I had like one scene with him in the town square where he's like a little bit creepy to me.
Hmm.
But mostly it wasn't really on set with him that much. You know, when you're a kid, you're only allowed to work a certain amount of hours.
Yeah,
And so you're really only on set when you're filming your scenes.
yeah.
And when you're not filming your scenes, you're in school. And so most of the time that I wasn't actually filming, you're not really with the other actors unless they're the other kids that you're in school with.
Right.
So unless you have a lot of on-screen time with somebody, you don't tend to spend a lot of time with them.
Okay. Yeah, because I met Bo at one of his last conventions, and he was just a very sweet man, and you could tell there was something wrong that he wasn't going to be around much longer when I met him.
Oh, that,
I got an autograph from him. I forgot to get a selfie with him because his co-star from American Graffiti that was also there that I talked to before was not very nice to me, and it threw me for a loop, and it stayed in me for a while.
oh,
And so that's why I forgot to ask for a selfie too. But at
mm,
least I got an 8x10 of him looking like James Dean in American Graffiti, so that was
I
good.
love that movie. It was a great movie.
It's one of the best movies ever. It's a special movie I could watch over and over again, especially in a single day, and I have. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it's a great film.
It's one of those ones that holds up for sure. You were in a home movie in on an episode of Brothers. Do you remember that?
Oh, was that a home movie? I feel like Brothers was a
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was sort of like
Mhm.
I have vague memories of Brothers. Again, I think I was on that set only for like a day. They try
Yeah.
and shoot kids out so quickly.
Hmm.
And we don't always, I don't know if I could read yet then. So I think that like you're very sort of sequestered to what it is you're actually doing
Hmm.
without really knowing the full context often.
Yeah. It was a pretty
So the longer jobs and the more involved jobs I remember a lot more because they take up more space and more time. But
right.
the ones where you're only there for like a day or two and you're young, sometimes they just sort of flit in and out.
Yeah, it was a pretty bold show for its time on Showtime back then. It was I guess a lot of people's introduction to the gay culture on television.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now,
I wasn't aware of that actually, to be honest. My parents, there were a lot of times when I did things that I didn't even get to watch afterwards. I don't know if maybe we didn't have Showtime, maybe I saw clips, but didn't fully, wasn't fully told the full context. And that happened a lot.
yeah, we didn't get Showtime till 1990. My mom worked for the cable company, and all the stuff that was on before 1990, I'm only starting to learn about now. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, I always knew that Gary Shandling had a show on Showtime before he did the Larry Sanders Show on HBO because they showed it on Comedy Central later. But like. I heard that Bill Maher had a sitcom that didn't last for a while on Showtime, and all these different shows and stuff. And
Oh, really? I didn't know that either. That's so funny.
oh yeah, I'm catching up on all this stuff. I didn't know that Super Dave was on before the '90s on Showtime. I'm learning the history there.
Hmm.
Now you must be amazed at the God longevity and cult phenomenon of the Monster Squad.
I mean, it's It was surprising to say the least. But yeah, it's pretty wild that it continues and grows as it has continued and grown.
Hmm.
Andre and Ryan and I are always like so grateful and kind of blown away at how the fandom seems to not only persist but grow,
Hmm.
which I don't think is something that we considered was a possibility even in 2007 when we did the first sort of 20th anniversary thing. It seemed like it would be a quick flash in the pan and we'd move on with our lives. And so it's been almost 20 years since then. If I can't even believe it, and it's pretty mind-blowing, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing it when it first hit HBO. I was 5 at the time, and just I've loved it ever since. It's just I feel the same way about it as I did when I first saw the Goonies at 3. I mean, it's
Wow, you have an amazing memory.
yeah, I mean, you always remember your destiny in hindsight, and you never know what your destiny is at the time. It's only later in hindsight. And just the fact that I can remember every movie I've ever seen, it really set me up for my present, having a podcast, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I have your encyclopedic memory for things in any way. I stay really present a lot of the time, and I think because of that, sometimes I don't even remember what I did yesterday. I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah,
I'm very not in my memory, which is, I mean, I can go back there but I forget so many things so easily.
it's a very specific thing. Not everybody can have it and stuff. And sometimes it works for me, sometimes it works against me, you know.
I'm sure. I'm sure. In some ways I like that I live so much in the present because I don't worry too much about the past. I think a lot of us are so um, we carry the past with us so much, and I don't tend to do that. But the downside is that I forget a lot of stuff.
But do you worry about the future?
Sometimes. I mean, I have children, so I worry about the planet.
I worry more now about the future than I ever have in the last 5 years since the pandemic happened. It's been really, really scary for me, I'll tell you. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's a the world we're living in and the social media bubbles that everyone's populating. It's scary to me sometimes too.
yeah, it is. Did all the boys become protective of you like a sister on set?
Yeah, they were. I mean, Andre still is. Andre and Ryan are still very sort of, in some ways, like big brothers.
Love those
And when
guys.
we're out on the road, they still, in some ways, kind of inhabit that. They're always like checking in on me. Are you okay? And you know, I'm usually fine. I'm a grown woman, but it's
Hmm.
nice to sort of know that they have my back. And when we did that sort of Alamo tour,
Yeah.
I brought my daughter with me because my husband was about to start the writer's room on his first TV show.
Uh huh.
And my daughter was about 14 months. And he was like, I can't be sole parent for 2 weeks to a 14-month-old when I'm about to go into my first room. And so I took her on the road with me. And the boys, Andre and Ryan, were sort of like I joked that they were my Sherpa stand-ins, schlepping all my pack and plays and strollers and everything that I needed and holding my daughter on the airplane. And they were sort of like uncles to my little one. And it was pretty wild to have that
Yeah.
experience with them.
Yeah, I've had Andre and Ryan on, and Duncan and Bobby Lesser, who was one of the dads, and Sonia Curtis, who was the peasant girl. Um,
Mm.
they've all been on, and they're all surprised by the longevity of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, who'd have thought when it tanked at the box office almost 40 years ago that I'd be on a podcast talking about it? Certainly not me.
Yeah, and now it's been said about how much Duncan terrified you when he grabbed you by the chin and said, "Give me the amulet, you bitch." Um, he's such a great guy, though, and he's had such an amazing life. He was doing radio at like 9 years old in Canada. Apparently that was a thing back then. I've talked to a few Canadians who started out doing radio that young, but
Hmm.
but yeah, he must have felt really bad at the time that he had to do that.
I don't know if he felt bad. I think he thought I was really annoying, and I think it felt good.
Really?
Knowing Duncan a little bit now, as I've come to know him as an adult, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he's so funny. Like I was just with him this past like 2 weekends ago
Hmm.
in Kentucky. We were all at Scarefest, and he was sitting next to me, and I was crying. I was laughing so hard because he's so funny.
Hmm.
But he always jokes about how annoying he thought we all were.
Yeah.
Because he was a serious actor, right? He's
Yeah.
like this big serious actor cast to play Dracula. And The Monster was a great movie. It's kind of campy and a little bit silly at times, right? And it
Hmm.
takes itself really seriously in some ways, and it doesn't take itself really seriously in other ways. And I think that's sort of an interesting tone to straddle. And, particularly the kids, we were all sort of the comic yuck yuck effect. And Duncan's like a very serious actor. And I'm sure that he was just like, oh my God, these annoying children.
Well, they tell you, when you're a young actor, don't work with children and don't work with animals.
I know, because we steal all the focus.
Yeah.
It's because children and animals are so present. They're so in the now that
Hmm.
people can't help but watch them.
Yeah, and also too, they can just annoy the hell out of an actor who wants to chew up the scenery. You know?
Yeah, well, and they can slow production. They don't always listen. And, I always joke that Duncan scared me, and he always jokes that I made him deaf with my scream. So
That's hilarious.
I'm not scared of him anymore.
Yeah. He's just the sweetest guy. When
He really is.
when Frankenstein is whistling in the wind circle of going back home, and you're like, "Don't go, Frankie, come back!" It breaks my heart still to this day, and I'm 42. It still makes me cry.
Yay! I love making grown men cry. It's my claim to fame.
Yeah, that and the Muppets Take Manhattan still makes me cry to this day.
I mean, there's a lot that still makes me cry to this day. I'm a big crier. I have a lot of feelings. They leak out of my eyes constantly. So,
Same here.
no shame in a good cry.
Same here. I saw the documentary Wolfman's Got Nards recently, and yeah, God, I can't believe how many people are affected by the movie. And as much as I love the movie, I love Fred's previous movie, Night of the Creeps, a little bit more.
Oh, my Night of the Creeps is great.
I love that. Yeah, that one makes me laugh. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I saw Night of the Creeps for the very first time at the Alamo Draft House the same weekend that we did our 20th anniversary.
Hmm.
I'd never seen it before, and they showed it the day before we did our screenings. And so the boys and I went because I'd never seen it before. So it's a great film. I really quite enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I'd see it on HBO a lot back in the '90s. They played it all the time, like late at night. It was a cult phenomenon even then. You did this TV movie, Right to Die.
Hmm.
Do you remember anything about that? Because I heard a funny story about what happened on set.
I do remember a fair amount about that. I'm dying to hear what your funny story is.
Okay, I don't know if you're in the Raquel Welch funeral scene, but Ed O'Neill has said that when he was doing that scene, it was the only scene he had with Raquel Welch throughout the entire movie because their characters were estranged. And
Hmm.
when it was his turn to go mourn her death, he said he overplayed it uh, to the point where Raquel Welch opened her eyes, looked at the camera, and said, "Well, I'm glad I wasn't close to that one."
She was interesting. She was she'd been around the business for so long, and she had so much experience and so much
Yeah.
knowledge that I think she sometimes perhaps overstepped a bit
Yes.
um, to the director. She wasn't super warm and cuddly to me.
Mm.
Um, and it was interesting because Michael Gross played my father in Right to Die. I'd met him first on Family Ties.
Yeah.
because he's also the dad on Family Ties, and he was really lovely and really kind. And I had most of my scenes with him, um, and she was a little bit, kind of to herself. And maybe that was just part of her process. As a kid, I'm sure I didn't fully understand what it was that she was doing, but she certainly wasn't shy about sharing her opinions about what we were doing, what the director was doing, what the other actors were doing. So that's all I guess I could say about that. I don't really, rest in peace. I hate to talk
Oh,
poorly about.
yeah, I'm not going to say the director's name, but I've heard stories about him as well, so I totally get it. Um,
um,
you were on the True Meaning of Christmas episode of My Two Dads.
I was.
Yeah, was that fun?
That was a blast. That was a really fun set. Um, Everybody was so kind and lovely, and you know, I got a puppy.
Oh,
So I'd always
yeah.
wanted a dog, and my parents kept saying no. So, like, that look of joy on my face when I get handed a puppy was not hard to act. It was very exciting. And, Paul Reiser it's funny, I actually went to college with, and I'm very good friends with a cousin of his that I discovered in college, which is really funny. Um, but that was a great time, a great set. I love sitcoms. Sitcoms are sort of like a cross between doing a play
Yeah,
and making a movie,
of course.
because that live studio audience, there's really nothing like making an entire studio audience laugh.
Hmm.
It's a drug like no other, I have to say. I understand the addiction that stand-ups and comedians have to making other people laugh.
Right.
It sort of feels all powerful. It's amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and I think My Two Dads was probably the first sitcom where I really felt
Yeah. Uh,
that
that
sort of buzz.
yeah, that puppy dog was so cute. I remember.
So cute.
And another guest of mine directed that episode, Zane Busby.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God,
Did he say anything bad about me?
she, I don't even think we
Oh,
talked.
she. Oh,
I don't even
oops.
think we talked a lot. We didn't talk a lot about the sitcom she directed, just for the interest of time. We talked about all the
Mm-hmm.
roles that she acted in, and there's a couple things here and there that we talked about that she directed. But she's an interesting force of nature, I will tell you. She is so funny, and she helps Holocaust survivors and like family members of Holocaust survivors. That's what she does now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, she's a great person for that. And the little Latin boy from Three Amigos is in this episode. Humberto Ortiz. Him and
Mm,
his mom Diana Ortelli, who I've also interviewed. They were both in Three Amigos together.
I love that movie.
It's a hilarious movie. That's probably
So funny. I probably watched that movie 100 times as a kid.
that's
I've
probably
rented it over and over and over again.
me too. It was probably the first Western I ever liked.
Same, I think. It's so funny. I mean, they're such comic geniuses.
Oh yeah, and they all hosted Saturday Night Live when that movie came out and everything. I mean, it was
Hmm.
pretty big at the time, pretty big. And I remember in this episode at the end, Dick Buttkiss introduces everybody to his hot sister, and Greg Evigan says, "There is a Santa Claus."
It's true. Yeah, that was a fun set. I mean, they're well run, well written, well produced shows that are, you just get, the pleasure and the joy and the privilege to get to work on for a small amount of time.
I know, and at the time you don't realize it, but so many critics are like putting the show down and stuff, and you find out later, and you're like, "Yeah, but you know what? It was fun to watch, fun to do." You know.
You know what? I don't pay any attention to critics for the most part, to be honest,
Hmm.
because a very someone my husband worked with once told me, if you believe them when they love you, you have to believe them when they hate you.
Hmm.
And what other people think of me and my work is really none of my business, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I do the best that I can whenever I get to work on something, and I work my hardest and I put my all into it. And if someone likes it, that's great. And I'm so excited that it touched a nerve somewhere. And
Hmm.
if someone does it, that's not really my problem as
Yeah,
far as I'm concerned. Like, as long as it's not the people I'm working for, right? Like, I want the people, the producers and the directors to be happy with the work that I've done. But, critics didn't like Monster Squad either.
of course, of course. Yeah, it's funny. Not until RottenTomatoes.com happened, I like found out that so many movies I love were just attacked and torpedoed. You know,
It's really easy to criticize something if you've never made anything. And
exactly.
it's really hard to make something good. I mean, knowing what it takes to make something, I'm always amazed anything is good.
Yeah, I mean Roger Ebert wrote the worst movie of all time, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, but it's got a huge
Yeah,
cult following, and I love that movie.
I mean, a movie doesn't have to be perfect to be enjoyable or to be meaningful or to make you laugh or to make you feel something. And sure, we can always talk about how we would do it differently, but that's a different movie. And the
Exactly.
creators make the movies that they make, and they have what they have in mind when they make them, and sometimes they don't turn out exactly how you hope, and sometimes they turn out better than you hope. And that's what makes this business fun in a way, is that you sort of never know how it's going to turn out until the very end.
Exactly. Tell me about working with Michael Landon on Highway to Heaven.
That also was a pretty short shoot. I think I was there for a couple of days. He was very nice to me, really kind,
Yeah.
really good director. He really sort of knew what he wanted, asked for what he wanted, and was really clear
Hmm.
in what his expectations were. Um, so I had a great experience personally.
Yeah. I found out this was one of the probably one of the last episodes that Victor French did before he got diagnosed with cancer, and
Mm.
then he passed a few short months later, and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I used to watch this show with my grandmother, and I always thought it was a very underrated, misunderstood show, and it could be fun at times, as heavy as it was, you know.
How do you think it was misunderstood?
I don't know. I think some people just passed it off as, just mindless cliche entertainment, like so many shows were at that time, and I don't think it really got its due because it was an uplifting show. I felt.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what its goal was, to sort of be uplifting in a lot of ways, to be moving and to touch you emotionally.
Hmm. Yeah, when Quantum Leap came on the air for the first time that fall after Highway to Heaven had ended, I said to
Hmm.
myself, they must have it's I mean they're two different shows in terms of tone, but like the premise of a guy out of time, out of place, pairing up with a guy who's still living on Earth and going on all these adventures. That whole premise, was still prevalent. I felt, I'm sure NBC. I'm
Absolutely.
sure NBC said, "Yeah, we need another show just like that." You know,
Quantum Leap is such a classic. I love that show.
that's a great show. Were you ever up for a part on there?
I think I auditioned probably here or there. I mean, as a kid in the '80s, there were only so many of us bopping around auditioning for things. So if there was a part for someone my age, I probably auditioned for it.
Yeah. And then you go from Michael Landon to his daughter Laura Ingalls on Without Her Consent.
Yes, I remember that set. I mean, again, I think I was only on that set for a few days. It was a small part, but I remember Melissa Gilbert quite well. She was really nice. And it's so funny that I got cast as her sister, because as I grew up, people always used to tell me that they thought I looked like Sarah,
Yeah.
um, which is her real sister. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a really interesting concept of that movie, and I think that was the first time that I personally even understood what consent was,
Right.
because I think my mom had to explain to me like what the movie was about, because I was getting a little bit older at that point and being like, what are we talking about? What's going on? Um, but I don't, it's funny. I don't think they would give me the whole script. Oftentimes, I would just sort of get my pieces of scenes.
Interesting.
I wonder if my parents were worried that it was inappropriate or too mature for me, and they didn't want me to read the whole thing.
Maybe that's quite possible. Yeah, Scott Valentine from Family Ties. He was breaking out of the nice guy typecast, playing
Mm-hmm.
such a scumbag in this. Yeah, he was great playing him, though. You did
Yeah, absolutely.
you did an Empty Nest episode. That was one of my favorite sitcoms when I was a kid. People don't realize it took chances. And, it was like
Oh, it was a great show. It was a fun show.
it was like Three's Company level of body, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the doctor, and he's given he's given your class a talk, and you're like, he's the doctor who gives shots, and they all boo him.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah, that was a fun set. It was a lot of kids
Hmm.
and a well written, well organized, well directed set also. And the people on it were really talented. I think I remember after I was on it, I started watching it because I was like, this show is great. And I quite enjoyed that show.
Yeah, I was sad when Christy McNichol left halfway through, though. I got to meet her about a month before the pandemic at a convention, and she's
Mm,
still one of my favorite celebrities I've ever met. She was just so wonderful,
she's so funny.
very funny, great at comedy.
Both of the daughters were so funny.
Dinah Manhoff, yeah,
Oh,
that
she was my favorite. She made me laugh so hard.
yeah, she was just game for anything, and just God, she was put in some hilarious situations with men on that
Hmm.
show. She slept with like a 21-year-old, and she's like, I feel like Mrs. Robinson, and he's like, who?
I think I also was like, who? I learned so much, I think, watching that show, actually, now that I think back on it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, The Graduate's one of my favorite movies of all time. I didn't have to say
Oh,
who. I had already seen the movie when I was really, really young.
what a great film. My God, what a classic.
It holds up. Yeah. You were on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Anything stand
Hmm.
out about that one?
I mean, again, that was it's interesting. That's a bottle episode. So what they'll often do is when they're over budget, they'll sometimes do these bottle episodes that are either using existing footage or existing sets to sort of save money. And what they did is they basically filmed the sleepover part in like a couple of days, I guess they had us film it. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of the other parts of that episode are flashbacks from the rest of the season. And so we filmed that sort of sleepover scene without anyone else on set. So the only people that I met were Ashley and Will. I mean, not Ashley, Tatiana, who was playing Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I think I was cast just because of my name, because when they introduced me to Tatiana, they said, Ashley Bank, meet the real Ashley Bank.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I didn't think about that, about the similarity in the names.
Yeah, yeah. So I think one of the reasons I got the job, besides the fact that I'm gloriously talented, of course, was that I think they got a kick out of the fact that I had the same name.
How about the
And
Frasier?
Will Smith was, he was new. It was his first show. He
Yeah,
wasn't famous yet, really. So he was just like any other actor.
he was just the Fresh Prince rapper. That's all he was.
Yeah.
We got to see his personality shine through the music videos on MTV, and they did pretty lengthy music videos, that group.
They did, but I actually don't even think those were so popular yet. There was just like Parents Just Don't Understand,
Yep.
and that was a little bit, and then there was the show, and the show was still airing its first season because I think that episode is in the first season, and so it wasn't even yet a huge hit when I filmed it. So it was still
Well,
sort of like early days.
well, they did. They also had another song. I can't remember the name of it. It's sampled. Oh yeah, oh, "Girls Are Just Nothing But Trouble," where they're sampling the "I Dream of Jeannie" theme.
Oh, I don't know that song, I don't think.
It wasn't as popular as "Parents Just Don't Understand," but I
I mean,
remember.
I still play Parents Just Don't Understand for my kids, and then they think I'm weird.
I love it. No, no, I don't think that's weird at all.
Well, my kids think everything their parents do is weird and lame and boring and uncool.
Yeah,
So it
of
comes with the territory.
of course. How was the Frasier experience?
That was amazing. What a stellar, talented, probably the most well-run set I've ever been on. Everyone who worked on Frasier had basically just come off of doing Cheers together for like 10 years, however long Cheers was on the air. And so they all were just like a well-oiled machine. Um, and I had the honor of being directed by oh, and now I'm totally blanking on his name.
Kelsey Grammer.
No, no, no. Kelsey didn't direct it. He's a famous sitcom
Mm.
director. He directs all the pilots. He directed like the pilot of Will and Grace and the pilot of Friends and the pilot of Frasier and the
Uh,
pilot of Cheers.
Jules Wick.
And
No.
no, 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 no. Oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna kill me. James Burrows.
Oh, James Burrows, the Cheers and Taxi guy.
Yes. So he, I believe, directed that episode. And he's such an incredibly funny and talented, he's a genius of a sitcom director. And so that was just such a gift to have that experience and have them sort of like changing lines on the fly and watching. At that point, I was old enough to really pay attention to how the sausage is made, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I really enjoyed being on that set a lot and had so much fun with them.
Love it.
Kelsey was, generous and lovely and funny. And
That's awesome. So after a while, did you, finish school and then come back into the business for producing?
so basically, I was an awkward teenager going through puberty and feeling like I wanted to sort of be normal and do normal kid things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped acting and I was a cheerleader and I did show choir. And then I went to college and I studied film politics and journalism. And then I worked at 48 Hours
Mm-hmm. Oh
and at
yeah.
CBS News for a few years, sort of producing news and documentaries for cable, which is sort of what I thought I wanted to do. I wanted to be a journalist. And around, I guess, like 2006, 2007, I sort of decided I didn't really want to do that anymore. And for a variety of reasons. And one of them was winter in New York. I'd had enough of winter in New York. And I
Mm-hmm.
came back to LA and I sort of did Second City Conservatory doing improv. And I did a little bit of stand up and I
Ooh.
acted in and directed some plays and met my husband. And now here I am, sort of like teaching, writing, producing a little bit. And I produced a little bit in college for friends. Started off casting, actually. A good friend of mine, my friend actually, who is Paul Reiser's cousin, was
Nice.
directing his thesis film at NYU, where I went to college. And he said, "Would you help me? Would you be my casting director since you have all this experience as an actor?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I could do that. That sounds fun." And so he and I worked together and we spent months casting roles. We actually cast Rob Morgan. I don't know if you know who that is.
Sounds familiar.
In one of his first film roles. He was a stand-up and he's gone on to like have a quite amazing career.
Okay. Yeah. So how long did you do stand up and like what was your act?
My act was basically just talking about my crazy childhood and what it was like to be a child actor and
Mm-hmm.
what it was like to, kind of, my family is really wacky and crazy and sort of what it was like to grow up in my family. And I love stand up, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
really hustle
Yeah.
to be a stand up. And I just don't know that I had that hustle, to be perfectly honest.
Same
You have
here.
to be willing to travel all over the country and be constantly writing new jokes. And I wanted to have kids, I wanted to have a family, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to be out at a nightclub, three different open mics until midnight every night. It was just sort of not what I wanted to do.
I know for 10 years when I was doing stand up in the Bay Area, all the hobbyists were like the ones that were cool with me, and then all the professionals were just complete dicks to me. And so it was hard to break in and get mentorship and advice and everything because they could be just so self-absorbed and just it really killed my perception of stand up, and so after a while I just got tired of it. I loved going up and performing. I just didn't like the backstage politics of it.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, comedians can be mean.
Yeah,
A lot of comedy, they say that, time, pain plus time equals comedy, right?
right.
And so I really do think that a lot of comedians have deep pain, and that's where a lot of funny things come from. And it's the way that you address and the way that you react to the trauma and the pain of our lives. Some of us do it in a funny way because if you don't laugh, you'll cry, and so you choose to laugh, right?
Hmm.
And so it's a hard life, and it can be demoralizing, I think, and but you just have to be so relentless with it, and it's so tough and it's so hard. And I loved doing it. It was so fun, but ultimately it just wasn't for me.
Did you ever work Blue?
No, no, not really. Not my style.
That was my style. I just because I have such an even tempered, sweet disposition. I just love shocking people just by making them think that it's going to be one way, but it's another. I love pulling the rug out from under people.
Hmm. I can see that. I mean, I enjoyed watching that kind of comedy. It just wasn't, it doesn't feel authentic coming from me. It doesn't, no one buys it.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely got to be a certain type of person for that and stuff. But it came back to haunt me a little bit because, certain people thought that I was being myself when I was actually being a character on stage. And so that came back to bite me in the ass a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. It's, it's the blurred lines between reality and character and performance. I think are murky even when you're not doing stand up, even when you're doing something scripted. I think sometimes people think you're your character.
Always, always.
And truthfully, you are in a way, right? Because
Hmm.
everything you do is you. You can't escape you. You're always you. So you bring yourself to every character you play, everything you write. You're in there. You can't escape it. And so, on some level, if you're honest and you're giving an honest performance, there is a piece of you in there.
Hmm.
But it's not all of you, or it's only a piece of you.
Were you good at improv?
I'm okay. It's fun, and but I'm often in my head a lot, and so it's hard sometimes to get out of my head. I think to be a truly gifted improviser, you have to be really willing to just go with the impulse and not think too hard. And I've had moments of improv genius where I'm able to tap into that, but it's a challenge, I won't lie. It's hard. The people who are gifted at it are amazingly gifted.
Yeah, we would do improv games in my drama class freshman year in high school, and I would just get so lost because I didn't grasp how we were doing it, what we were doing, and stuff. And
Hmm.
I was thinking to myself, God, all the guys I grew up loving, Chevy Chase and John Candy and Aykroyd, Belushi, all these guys were doing it, but it's like I don't know how to do it because I'm supposed to be present in the scene and just do whatever respond to whatever the person says or does, and I'm trying to do it, but how do I make it funny? And I think that was my problem. While I was thinking about the funny too
Ah,
much, because
you can't try
yeah,
and make it funny.
yeah,
It's interesting. Like I think that if I would say like performing improv at a show, I'm only okay. If
hmm,
it's improv, which is the way I use improv as a way to rehearse or as a way to discover, then I'm great at it because you don't sometimes improv is bad and that's
hmm,
okay. That is it to me it's hard for improv to be a final performance. For me, it's an exercise, it's an exploration, it's a way to rehearse, it's a way to write,
hmm,
it's a way to think about something. And so, and that's sort of the second city school of thinking about improv is that you
hmm,
improv in order to write.
yeah.
And, you discover things that work and you discover things that don't work. And I think that the cool thing about improv is that you have to be okay with it not working.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've become friends with so many groundlings and Second City people that I grew up watching, and like when I'm talking to them unrecorded, they'll just catch me off guard with something that they pulled out of their ass that just made me laugh so hard, that
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect. And I'm just like, God, I wish I had that gift. I wish I did. I was pretty good at crowd work, but I cheated a little bit at crowd work when I did stand up because I pre-planned a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
mean, I could see that. It's scary to be up there flying by the seat of your pants.
it is, and you always hope you're not going to get heckled, but when you do, you're like, oh shit, what do I say? What do I say? You know.
Mm-hmm. I know. I know. That's not, I don't think I've got heckled many times, once or twice maybe.
So, do you like producing?
Yeah, I like producing. I like sort of molding something and creating something. I love being on set. I don't think I'm happier in any place than I am when I'm on set. Um, and producing is in some ways the logistics of it is easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know that's a crazy thing to say. Most people are like, it's so hard, and it is really hard, but it's not, it's you just figure it's problem solving. And so I'm pretty good at problem solving, and so I enjoy it to that degree. But these days, I mostly teach. So I do a little bit of producing here and there, but I mostly am being my husband's in-house unpaid development executive
Mm-hmm.
and teaching, which is really rewarding in its own way.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah, because I could just imagine being a producer can be really stressful.
It can be very stressful, right? You have to sort of manage and juggle all these things. And, sometimes if you plan ahead properly, it's not that stressful. But there's always something that goes wrong. Like something always goes not according to plan, something doesn't work, someone's late, something breaks, like it always. And so you're basically a firefighter, just sort of like aiming the hose and putting out this fire and then putting out that fire. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun, but it doesn't feel, if you're on when you're doing the logistics of it, it doesn't feel creative.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the sort of creative producing personally.
I totally get it. Why did you get a thank you in the credits of the short Love and Porn?
Oh, because I was teaching it was a student of mine. So
Mm-hmm.
I was teaching a documentary production class, and my student made a documentary about a porn star and her marriage, basically.
How old was the student?
Who's in her 20s, I guess,
Oh, okay. Because
late 20s.
I was like, wow.
I
Yeah.
teach college, so I'm
Oh.
teaching college students, so they're all adults.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, what? Yeah. Are you a porn fan?
Not particularly.
Okay. I
I mean, I've seen some here and there, obviously, but it's not a normal. Um, I guess I don't even know what I would say. Not a normal activity of
yeah.
mine.
I am. I've had porn stars on here. They are crazy, but they're like the life of the party. So when you're talking to them, it's like you're at a party because they just got no
I'm
filter.
sure.
They got no filter, and they're just funny. It's really, really
Hmm.
funny. And some of them, do stand up. It's pretty interesting. Have you done any cons lately?
I did three this year, which
Uh,
is a lot for me. I don't usually do three. I did three in like 2 months, basically. My poor husband was alone with our kids forever, it felt like for him, I'm sure. But I just got back from Scarefest in Kentucky a couple weeks ago. And then I was in Boston at TerrorCon in September and in Minneapolis at Crypticon, I guess,
mhm.
also in September. So um,
What's the craziest thing anyone's ever asked you to sign? I think I know.
oof. What do you know? What do you think it is?
Well, most horror people say, even though you're not deep into horror, like most people at those cons and stuff, they get like body parts.
Yeah, I've probably signed someone's leg or arm, and
Hmm.
maybe then they went to get it tattooed. Is that right? Like I said, my memory is terrible. Um, so maybe that happened.
Yeah, people with
But
tattoos, they come to the table and say, "Can you sign my tattoo?" It's like it's not going to last long, you know.
no, no, no. I think I signed someone and on their leg or arm, and then they were gonna go get what I signed tattooed
Oh, okay, I got it.
on them. Maybe that happened. Maybe that didn't happen. It's totally possible I'm making that up.
I know it's these people, you know, who ask for those things. It makes my job so much harder when trying to get people to come on my podcast in the horror world because you know they have a fear of like, oh God, I hope he's not like one of those crazy, you know, one of those crazy horror fans that I meet at cons, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any bad experiences to be perfectly honest. Everyone who comes up and talks to me is usually like so friendly and so nice, and
Hmm.
our fans are not creepy or weird generally.
That's good. That's good. So do you have
They're always like really great people, I find.
that? That's good. Yeah, the ones who are like you know in the slasher films, they're the ones who get the craziest ones.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think because the Monster Squad is really sort of a sweet kind of kids movie, it doesn't
Hmm.
attract that same energy as some others maybe.
Right, and you know it's half and half. There's you know some slasher fans who grew up on the Monster Squad as well and stuff. You know, just being a part of that
Sure.
generation. But yeah, the craziest ones, they're the ones who keep their distance from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I grew up on slasher films. I love slasher films. I've seen almost every Freddy, Jason
Oh,
um, movie out there.
oh God, yeah. I mean, I grew up. Jason was my guy when I was growing up. I also I liked Freddy, but I'll tell you, the Freddy ones terrified me to no end. And
They're
then
so scary. They're so scary.
as I got older, I appreciated them more, you know, and I've gotten to know all the cast members and stuff over the years and stuff. But when I was a kid, oh, like when Freddy turned Philip into a puppet in Dream Warriors, that terrified me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because he's pulling
Dream
out
Warriors is so scary.
because he's pulling out his tendons, you know, and using them for strings.
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen that before. I was way too young for that.
I'm sure I was too. I think I went to one of the premieres. I think I went to the premiere of the one that came out in '86 with my mom, and I was very young and very scared.
Dream Warriors came out '87. It was probably
Yeah,
that
I think
one.
it was I think it was Dream Warriors. I think I went to that premiere.
Yeah, that was at the time the highest grossing one out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Dream Master tied as the highest grossing one. Those were the two biggest ones. And then you know, of course, there was soundtrack songs and music videos made and everything. And then next thing you know, Freddie Mania happened.
Yep, and it continues to this day.
To this day, Robert's getting his star on Friday on the Walk of
I
Fame.
know, it's very exciting. Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, he and I had the same birthday, June 6th, and when
Oh, that's my mom's birthday.
really, really,
Lots of Geminis in the house.
yeah, I share a birthday with Robert and Harvey Firestein and Skippy Lowe, if you remember him, the old talk show host in LA.
No.
Yeah, all June 6th, and Bud Friedman, who ran the Improv. Yeah,
No.
I
I didn't know that.
share it with all those guys. Day before Prince, who was June 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, we got to play my secret silly game. This is a series of silly slumber party questions. It's no win or lose,
Uh-oh.
just pure fun.
Uh-oh.
And how the,
Oh,
and how
okay. I'm nervous.
and how the game works is Ashley, I ask you the question, you answer it, then you ask me that exact same question, and I answer it, and feel free to comment on the answers because they might be funny.
Okay.
Ashley, are you ticklish?
Yes. Are you ticklish?
Yes, I'm baby ticklish.
Baby ticklish? What does baby ticklish mean?
I'm very squirmy, you know, and I
Squirmy.
giggle, you know.
Mm-hmm. I can be tickled even if you don't touch me.
Oh yeah, I
Like the thought of being tickled is enough.
yeah, the feeling just makes you get all giggly inside.
Mm-hmm.
Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
Any. Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
It is also an innie. What color are your toenails painted?
My toenails are painted red. What colors are your toenails painted?
They are black and orange.
Cool. Very apropos of the season.
Yes, and they will be brown for Thanksgiving. What would you?
Delightful.
Yeah, I like to go elaborate
Everyone
colors.
everyone loves brown toenails.
Yeah, and I'll do red, green, and white for Christmas. Um,
Cute.
what would you say is your best personality trait?
Ooh, that's a tough one. My best personality trait is that I can let go of anything. I can get over anything.
You're
What's your
resilient.
best? I'm resilient. I can forgive almost anything.
Love it.
What's your best personality trait?
Well, being that I'm a Gemini, I have empathy and I have no filter.
The two sides of your personality.
Exactly, exactly. And when I meet somebody who's also a Gemini, I'm like, I gotta find that other evil twin. I'm gonna tell them a dirty joke or something just to find that other evil twin. um, what is your guilty pleasure?
Ooh, my guilty pleasure is cheesy, terrible rom-coms.
Love those two.
I don't even know how guilty I feel about that, though. I guess my guilty pleasure is shitty reality TV.
Not a reality fan.
What's what is your guilty pleasure?
Eating pizza and watching a raunchy sex comedy movie.
Very fun.
Yes. If you could have
What's
any,
your favorite sex comedy movie?
probably Animal House.
Ooh, the rapey one.
Yeah. That was the first one I fell in love with as a kid. My dad and I used to watch it when my mom wasn't home when I was starting at like 4. It was like
Hmm.
our little tradition, you know. I've only watched it with my mom maybe twice. One of the times it was cut. It was on one of our local stations. It was cut and stuff and everything. And I remember even my mom saying it back then about how, some of the rapey content was inappropriate, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's still funny though. I have to say, it's quite genius.
It's hilarious. It's a product of National Lampoon, so you can't go
It
wrong there.
is. It's
Um,
true.
if you could have anything named after you, what would it be?
Ooh, I like this question. A coffee drink.
Nice.
If you could have anything named after you, what would it be?
Get ready for this. A vibrator.
Okay.
I'm just manifesting my queerness, that's all.
Uh-huh.
And then my favorite question, is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
Ooh, rotten eggs.
Ah, the worst.
Is there a stinky smell that makes you gag?
Either farts or feet.
Oh, yeah, feet can be gross.
The classics.
Classics.
Ashley, thank you so much for coming on today. You are just so delightful and wonderful and so much fun. And I hope I get to meet you at a convention someday.
That would
And
be fun. Thank you so much for having me on.
absolutely, you have a happy holiday season with the family and be safe
Thank
out there.
you. Thank you, you as well.
Okay, bye bye.
All right, take care.
Well, there you have it. Ashley Bank. Ain't she a sweetheart? Oh my God, I just love her energy and her sense of humor. And she's so smart. I mean, really, really smart. I think all the time she spent on those sets just, oh my God, gave her so much insight and wisdom. And her husband and kids are very lucky to have her. Just a great person. I enjoyed that. Hope I get to meet her at a con. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes. We're the Monster Squad.